Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow, and happy Monday, everyone. All right, President Biden gave a wonderful press conference this morning. As you may know, he took questions on the big reckless spending and taxing and big government socialist Bernie Sanders bill. One of the wonderful assertions by the president was that the debt ceiling is only about past spending, or of course he blamed Donald Trump, but it's not about future spending. Well, actually, that's totally, utterly incorrect. It's a piece of disinformation that could mark a new low in presidential fibs. I won't call them lies because he's the president, so I'll just say it's a fib. But in the fib market, after this morning, Mr. Biden is a stock looking for a bottom. Of course, the debt limit debate is always about future spending. In fact, it's only about future spending because during the Trump years, Mr. Trump and the Congress agreed to suspend the debt limit until a few days ago, on September 30th. So the reason Mitch McConnell and the Republicans won't support the Democrats is because the Democrats won't say what kind of spending and taxing and debt they're cooking up for the next budget. Emphasis on the next budget, as in next year. Now, I know there's a circular Democratic firing squad going on right now, but I'm just saying, if they ever make a deal, Nancy Pelosi's latest is that they have to have a deal by October 31st. That's Halloween. If they ever make that deal, then somebody will know what kind of borrowing requirements are necessary for the next year. But if the Democrats don't know, how can the GOP know? And if the Democrats fess up to their reckless spending intentions, then the GOP will be right in opposing it and the borrowing that goes with it. So I just love it when President Biden blames former President Trump. On the catastrophic southern border with illegal immigration, he blamed Trump. In disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, he blamed Trump. Now, on economic policy, reversing Trump's many successes, he blames Trump. There's a pattern here, wouldn't you say? Biden the victim, blame Trump. Trouble is, as Biden polls plunge, the public's not buying it. Inflation has become a huge problem. The public links big government spending with higher inflation, and therefore the public opposes the Biden-Bernie et al. Budget. This is not hard. Trump didn't invent this reckless budget. And it is interesting how Mr. Biden has sold out the so-called Democratic moderates, as he did last Friday when he went up to the House Democratic Caucus and he combined the infrastructure bill with the budget reconciliation bill. That's something he and Ms. Pelosi pledged not to do, but they did it anyway. Now, Biden is blaming Senators Manchin and Sinema. So really, the president has completely eliminated any lingering image of being a moderate himself or being a uniter. All that is totally gone. He crossed the Rubicon, and he's now a charter member of the far-left Progressive Caucus. So, of course, my own mantra remains the same. Save America, kill the bill. In fact, kill all the bills. But it's going to be one big bill. Now, I have a couple of thoughts about this one big bill. It's interesting to me, at least, why other so-called moderate Democrats haven't rallied behind Manchin and Sinema. President Biden completely shot down my friend, Democrat Josh Gottheimer, as the president and Ms. Pelosi took Josh and his moderate pals to the cleaners. That was last Friday. But the people who want a separate infrastructure vote are Manchin and Sinema. So the question is, why haven't Josh and his pals rallied to their cause? Now, Josh, my friend, I talked to you. Are we going to be a profile in courage here, to quote my hero, JFK? Or are we going to just give up our flag and surrender to the far left? Which is it? Josh, you're always welcome on this program anytime to talk about this. You're a good man. But I'm surprised you haven't stood up for Manchin. Finally, folks, one last point. Of all the people, actually, AOC just got something right. She said it's not about the top line number, it's about the policies under the hood. Well, okay. Here's where Manchin and Sinema are completely and totally right on policies. Transfer programs and entitlements should be strictly means tested, limited in scope and limited in time. And, perhaps the biggest and, all these programs should contain workfare. In fact, I would add education requirements to workfare requirements. This is where Manchin and Sinema have the story completely right. And every sensible person should support them. The far left won't, nor will the far left accept the Hyde Amendment, which prohibits federal funding of abortions and has been the nation's law for 41 years. I believe Manchin's completely right on this one, too. But I don't see the left-wing progressives agreeing to any of these policy points. That's going to be a big problem. So let the games continue. Ms. Pelosi says Halloween is the new deadline. Oh, my God. How fitting. Halloween. All I'll say is save America. Kill the bill. In fact, kill all the bills. That's my riff for tonight.